I've lived in Thailand on two very different budgets. When I first came to Thailand, I lived here on about $500 a month. And now I'm living here on about 3,000 a month. And so in this video, I'm going to tell you a bit about how my lifestyle has changed and how my budgeting and priorities have changed on those two different budgets. So on when I first arrived in Thailand, I had a very small income from a rental property that I had in the UK. And so that generated about $500 per month income. And sometimes it was less than that if I had to replace the washing machine or get something fixed or something for the tenants. And so it was, let's say it was about 500, but realistically, some months it could be even less than that. So how did I survive on 500 a month? So first of all, I lived in Chiang Mai. And it was also, this is back in 2016. So things might be a little bit different now. It might be, things are a little bit more expensive. And so living on 500 a month now might be a little bit different to when I did it. But I lived in a very, very small studio apartment. It was quite a nice room. This is in fact, I lived in two different places. I lived in the first one that I lived in was on Sri Mankalajan Road, and that was about 9,000 baht a month. Studio apartment. It had a fridge, but no kitchen, basic bathroom, double bed and a balcony. And that was 9,000 baht a month, which is, let's check, $265. So over half of my monthly budget went on rent, and it was a pretty cheap place. I lived there for a few months, and then I moved to a different place that was cheaper, but much smaller room, but it was a more modern type of room, but a similar sort of setup, just a double bed, balcony, very basic bathroom, no kitchen or anything. And that was 6,500 a month, which is 6,500 baht, which is $280. So, very, very, very cheap compared to Western prices. But when you're living on 500 a month, it's still half of your income. Now, what I did do to save money was that I never, ever turned the air conditioning on, basically. So at night time, I would sleep on top of the bed with no covers. If I got too hot in the middle of the night, if it was a summer, I would just go and have a shower in the middle of the night, a cold shower, come back, get on my bed soaking wet. And very, very occasionally, as a little treat, I would put the air conditioner on for like 30 seconds and just like get a quick blast of cold air and then turn it off again to save money. So my electricity bills were around 200 or 300 baht a month, which is like $7, $8, something like that per month. Water was included. I think internet was included as well in the price, so I didn't have to pay for that. So then let's say I had $200-ish left over for food and entertainment and travel and all those things. So when I was living on $500 a month, now I did this for it was probably about the first 6 months that I lived in Thailand, before I started teaching online and earning more money. So I did this for about 6 months, and for that time I didn't travel anywhere. I just stayed in Chiang Mai. I didn't have a motorbike or a car or anything like that. I would just walk everywhere. Luckily, I lived near everything. Near the first place I lived near Niman, and the next place that I lived, the cheaper place, was in Santitam, which is also a nice area, but more of a kind of local Thai area. But I had everything that I needed in walking distance. I used to walk to the old city, which was like 40 minutes. I could walk to Niman, which was half an hour. And sometimes I get public transport, like a red car, which is 20, 30 baht, depending on how far you're going. But basically I would walk everywhere to save money. Food-wise, I used to just eat street food type of things, so noodles, like rice dishes for like 40, 50 baht. Occasionally I would cook at home. So I used to get, I used to make my own rice. I bought a little rice cooker, and then I used to make my own rice and things like eggs, just really basic stuff, really cheap, just like rice over eggs. Very, very basic stuff. So yeah, insurance, I didn't have insurance, not recommended. Luckily I didn't get sick or anything, but it's definitely not advisable. I wouldn't recommend living in Thailand on 500 baht, $500 a month, because, you know, if something happens, you have an accident, you know, you don't have insurance, you can't afford to pay for the hospital bills, you know, you can't travel really, you've got no spare money to do anything. I probably, if I wanted to go home, I wouldn't have been able to afford a plane ticket. Having said that, even though I would really, really recommend against that, do not come here if you've only got $500 a month. That's not a good idea. Having said that, that period of time was some of the best memories of living in Thailand. You know, I was just, because I was new to Thailand, and I was very unhappy in my life back in the UK. And so sort of that first period of time when I lived here, even though I didn't have much money, I was just really loving experiencing the culture. And because I was eating loads of street food and, you know, doing things more like the Thai way, I sort of, you know, came to appreciate the Thai culture, and I met a lot of Thai friends. And you know, $500 a month is probably about what the average salary is for a Thai person. And so, you know, you're living more like the way that a Thai person would on that budget. You know, although as a foreigner coming into Thailand, it is more difficult to live cheaply. You don't know what, you know, you don't know what the food is, you don't know how to order it, you don't know what the cheapest way to get around is. So, you know, it can be a bit more tricky for a foreigner, especially if you first coming here. Now, so that was back in 2016. I did that for about 6 months, living on that $500 a month. Then after that, I started teaching online, which started bringing in quite a bit more money. And then I also still had my rental income at that time. So it was like, I went from living on 500 a month to more like 1,500, which makes it much more comfortable. I could travel home. I went home a couple of times, back to the UK for short trips. I could travel around a bit more. So, you know, that was much more manageable living on that income. Now where I am at the moment in 2025, I'm making around $3,000 a month, which is, you know, it sounds like it's gonna be a lot more, and my lifestyle has completely changed. But my lifestyle has changed, although it's not like I'm eating out in fancy restaurants every night and traveling, you know, all the time. You know, I've got a kid now, I'm married, and so most of my money just goes on that. You know, I've got a car, living in a fairly big house now, and so I still don't have a lot of spare money. It's more, you know, going on my family and bills and stuff like that. Now, if I was living on $3,000 a month and I was still single, now that my lifestyle would probably be drastically different. I probably would be traveling a lot, and, you know, I'd be living in a nice condo, and yeah, to be fair, I'd still be eating street food, because street food is some of the best that you can get in Thailand. But yeah, even though I've got a lot more bills to pay for now that I've got a family, I still, on this money in Thailand, on $3,000 a month, you can live really, really comfortably, to be honest. I don't have to worry too much about money. You know, we eat out a lot, still eat Thai food a lot, but we can choose if we want to have like Japanese food or something at the shopping centre, and it's not going to break the budget. We've got 2 cars. We live in a nice house. You know, we've just booked a holiday to go to Bangkok and down to the islands for a week. So, you know, it does open up the world a little bit more. And if you have got a bit more money in Thailand, you really, it goes so much further than, you know, trying to live in the UK or the other Western countries on $3,000 a month, where you'd probably just be scraping by, like I was scraping by on the $500 a month when I lived in Thailand. You know, $3,000 a month in the West, it's probably like similar to $500 a month in Thailand. So $3,000 a month here, it is comfortable. You know, you're never going to be rich, but you don't have to worry too much about money. And so I would say if you want to live comfortably in Thailand, if you're single, probably $1,500 a month. If you're a couple, or especially if you've got kids, probably 2,000 up to be comfortable. Obviously, you can survive on much less than that, but to be comfortable where you're not worrying about money and things like that. So those are my thoughts. Anyway, I'd love to hear your thoughts. If you live in Thailand, what does your kind of budget look like? What would you say is a reasonable amount to live comfortably in Thailand? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.